Hey guys, what's up? Happy Friday. Welcome. For today's drink, we have some ginger water. For today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a first impression on the brand new, super beyond exciting Patrick Ta for Eyes eyeshadow palette. I am beyond thrilled about this one. This right here retails for $68, I want to say. Let me just double check that. Yes, a whopping 68 buckaroos. With tax and everything, I paid around $74 for this. Definitely a bit steep, especially for a neutral palette, but I love Patrick Ta's formulas, especially his blushes are amongst my favorites. His bronzer, just his powder products especially. I haven't tried much of his creams, but his powder products especially, wow, like, I feel like you can't go wrong. You know what I mean? Also, when you do touch this palette, it does hold, like it does have a lot of fingerprints, so something to keep in mind. But I like that the packaging is pretty much the same as his like blushes and bronzers. It's like, seems like it's part of the same family. And then like I even have like a lip product here, which also it looks like it's from the same family. Anyways, let's get started. I'm so excited about this. I have a decent amount of, I would say, neutral palettes, but there's something about this one that looks pretty good. I also did pull out the teddy bear palette because a lot of you guys mentioned to me it looks similar to this, so we'll see. Okay, so here's where we have the two cream shadows. These were with one swipe swatches each. Really nice, and I love, love, love the tones. Seems pretty creamy as well, but not overly creamy. Here's where we have the four matte shades. These are with one swipe swatches each. They do seem like they're pretty buildable, very, very smooth, very creamy. These I would say are mattes with little specks of fine glitters. It's not gritty, very nice, very smooth. You could use it probably as a matte in the transition like area, but I think that I can also use these as like lid toppers or as a one swipe swatch. They're not as shiny, it's more just like glitter particles. And finally we have these beautiful shades. So I would say these are like the metallics of the bunch. There are four of them. I feel like upon initial like touch, like they feel a little bit thick, but they're very, very sparkly, very wet looking, and they have like little specks of glitter, but not in a textured way. So this palette right here actually doesn't have any white setting shade, which I typically love for just setting my lids. I'm just gonna go in with the Too Faced palette just because it's right here. So I'm gonna use the white shade in here to set my lids. And this is just like a fluffy brush from Morphe and Jaclyn Hill, the JH33. Next, we're gonna pop into the palette and I'm gonna use this shade right over here. So not the lightest, but not the deepest shade. I'm gonna use it, I think, on this brush. This is the R37 by Morphe. I don't even know if it's available, but it's just like a good fluffy brush. I feel like somebody's mowing their lawn. You can't get a break around here, you know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty much just gonna work that in the crease area as I typically do and blend it away. You hear the beeps? This is beautiful. I love these kind of tones. I just feel like it goes so well with so many different skin tones. Next, just to build up the intensity, I'm going to go in with this shade right over here. So it's more of like a chestnut brown, and with that I'm going to be using the JH33 brush, also like a fluffy brush. This brush actually is available on Ulta. With this, I'm going to put it pretty much in the same area, a drop lower because I want the initial shade still to peek through. And this is, like I always say, the technique that I typically go for. Yeah, I don't know how to really do like the whole shebang of like cut creases and all that. I could probably do it, but it'll take me like 3-4 hours for sure. I just like this. I feel like it works well for my eye shape, and it's been good. It's been working out. Yum. I love these kind of colors. Like there are certain browns that I feel like look very dirty on me, and I'm not feeling it. I would tell you if this looks dirty. This, I feel like it doesn't have that dirty vibe. I don't know, I'm very particular with my browns. Really gorgeous. I love how the shade built up. I'm gonna go in with this shade as well, which is the deepest brown. And I like that he included that because it's not necessarily black, but it's like a good deep brown. So if you really want to smoke things out, I think that would be perfect. With that, I'm just gonna go in with the M514 from Morphe. You don't necessarily need to go in with smaller brushes. If you want, you could really just even use one brush for the full look. Sometimes I'll just do that. And with this one, I really just want to take a drop, again, just to kind of like build up the intensity on the outer part of the eye, and then kind of sweep in like whatever is left on the brush, and also do like circular little motions here. So like it's a whole outer V situation. I don't know how to do the whole like V and work it. I just kind of like wiggle the brush in there. So there's some form of dimension. Now I'm thinking to myself, I should have probably used one of the cream shades. I don't know. I'm thinking like maybe I would just use these as a one swipe swatch situation kind of thing. I don't know if I would maybe mix these together or maybe use this as like a base and then go in with something else. I guess you could do that. I'll play around with it a little bit more and then see how I enjoy using this palette, but I maybe forgot to use it this time. Whoopsies. Okay, I think for the lids, I'm actually feeling this shade right over here is super gorgeous. That's like a rose gold copper. With this, I'm just gonna place it on my lids. This looks like purified silver foil. It looks so good. My nails are absolutely horrendous. I've been butting them like crazy lately. So don't mind my nails, but I love this. Wow. So with these, I would probably use them as like a one swipe swatch situation too. Like I'm like headed out the door and I don't have the time to build up the intensity in the crease and all of that. I would just probably pop one of these on the lids because they're very, very intense, but in a good way. Like it looks very rich and pretty on. Like it looks hot. I'll take it. The lid, the JH42. I'm gonna use this shade right over here. So the other metallic, but like the whitish ivory one, which I love that this is included in here because you guys know I always love putting this kind of shade on the inner corner. I just feel like it really just adds the finishing touch. Obsessed. Yeah. Looks good. It's giving like a good... This is gorgeous. Wow. And for the lower lash line, I'm going to go in with these two shades right over here to deepen things up a bit. I like when it kind of ties in with the look usually. And then I'm going to use the Sigma E55 brush, which I've had for a while. It's like a stiffer slash somewhat flimsy-ish brush. So it's good to pack on the shade and also to kind of blend it out. Alright, I'm thinking that brush is maybe a little bit too huge on go. I'm going to go in with the E37 by Sigma and kind of blend that out. Then I'm going to go in with just a small brush. This is a lavish eye shading brush that I got maybe like in Ipsy or something. And with this, I'm really going to put it closer to my lash line. So also with the lower lash line, there's dimension as well. It's not just one color. You can see the gradient effect as well. That's like my vision. For eyeliner and mascara, I have these two. So I'm going to use the Colorful Crayon by the Sephora brand in just the black shade. And then the mascara that I'm using is the L'Oreal Age Perfect Mascara. This is actually a mascara that I recently purchased from Ulta, and I've actually been really enjoying it. I feel like it gives a nice amount of length and volume. It is pretty buildable. It's not way too wet, but it's not a dry formula either. For lashes, I'm going to go in with these from the Blinking Beauty brand. I purchased these from Ulta site. A little bit pricey, but you can get a ton of uses out of them. I love these because it gives like the outer part of the eye like a very lifted effect, and they're very easy to apply as well. If you have like a hard time applying regular lashes and then the inner part always comes up, you know, it can kind of be annoying sometimes. These are perfect because it just gives you a little bit of something extra, and I just think they're gorgeous. I've repurchased these so many times. You guys can see here, so pretty. For lips, I'm gonna use this by Patrick Ta. It's the She's Independent, I want to say gloss. Yes. Silky Lip Creme. So I guess it's a hybrid between a gloss and liquid lipstick because it has amazing staying power, but also has like a shine to it. So that is pretty much it in regards to the eye look, the lips, all of that. I have to say, I know I'm always saying the same thing with palettes, like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is amazing, okay? Let me tell you that. Definitely is pretty pricey, but you can tell there is such quality with this. I like the fact that he curated it in a really cool way because it's easy on the eyes. You can do so much with this in a way where you can go dramatic and like heavy in a good way, or you can go like that simple route but still look always like perfect. You know what I mean? I also love, like I said, these tones are just beautiful. I feel like for so many different skin tones, they built up amazingly so far. The metallics, like they felt chunky-ish initially upon swatching them, but they have like almost like this iridescent vibe going for them, and it looks very like multi-dimensional on the eye, very rich looking, and just like wow, you know, something that I feel like I would only get if I either wet my brush or if I use like a loose glitter with like some pigment in there as well. I feel like this just has all of that in one. If he can make this in a bunch of color stories, like this is, I don't know, I'm gonna say it's like ultimately beautiful shadows to work with. These I still didn't have a chance to use yet, you guys saw, but I'm like eagerly waiting to see what I could do with those. And yes, it is a neutral palette. I don't know if I have these kind of palettes, like tons of these specific ones. I know there have been other brands that did release other neutral palettes, and none of them really spoke to me, I'll be honest with you, because it's like, yeah, it's another neutral palette, but this one, and there's something about it that I feel like I'm very happy with. I really do think that Patrick Ta did an amazing job with this one. He built such an amazing name for himself, and launch after launch, I find that his products just end up being like better and better, but like the initial launches were amazing to begin with, you know. I will say if you do have the Too Faced eyeshadow palette, is it a necessarily like a must? I mean, there are a lot of similar tones for sure. The Patrick Ta shadows are definitely bigger compared to the Too Faced. I feel like if you do have the Too Faced palette, you could do a lot with it. You can also go like very neutral, but also berry as well. And the shades in there are also very, very nice. I feel like they are somewhat similar, but also different at the same time. They're kind of like cousins, not really sisters, I would say. You could get a similar, like the similar energy with both. I like both, but I feel like the Patrick Ta one is like just a step above, I would say. I am curious to see what other looks I could come up with this palette. I feel like a lot of the looks will have a similar vibe to it just because it's mostly browns, and I just feel like depending on what shade I'll put on the lid, it'll look somewhat different. Highly impressed. I mean, I feel like you guys kind of get the point. You're like, okay, Liora, we get it. You love everything. We get it. No, but this is a really good one, I have to say. Anyways, I mean, the look is so nice. I'm obsessed. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. Let me know if you are going to pick up this palette for yourself, if you're going to go ahead and skip out on it, if I kind of persuaded you, or if you're kind of like, yeah, no, I don't think so. Keep me posted, and I'm looking forward to reading your comments down below. Bye.